We are all the same. It is only our knowledge and wisdom that separates us. Don't let your eyes deceive you.
minus 1 hour and 15 minutes and holding.
Now bring that beat back, the tom to the tom sound like drum pack. Right, left, right, stereo, so come on everybody get ready, cause here we go straight to just the melody, so come and get some, come follow me, step by move, and then just dance to the groove like 1, 2, 3, just in the place to be, ready for action, down with the Esprit, a new school leader of a dope crowd, I stand tall and proud, and you feel like I scream loud, yeah, that's the way it comes, me on the microphone, static on the funky drums, with my course and my question, try to catch the rhythm, so give me a suggestion.
When we first got there, we knew that anyone who went in the pyramid never came back out. We weren't so concerned about that now, though. It was darkness, never seen the end, that horrified us.
Which way should we go?
Sally whispered to me through the darkness.
Let's go straight. Okay, let's go.
I said as I started walking down the corridor. I couldn't believe Sally had actually talked me into doing this.
Hurry up!
Sally yelled at me. I could see her flashlight getting dimmer and dimmer, and then it disappeared.
Hey, Sally, come back and look at this.
I couldn't believe my eyes. I'd heard of mummified cats, but I'd never seen one till now.
Over here, I found something.
I heard Sally yell as her voice echoed through all the long passages.
Hold on, I'm coming.
I screamed as I took off towards her flashlight.
Over here.
I heard her cry. As I walked towards the light, I saw a large coffin, and as I walked closer to it, I heard a thump inside.
Did you hear that?
I screamed, hoping she'd hear me. I took off running to find Sally, and just as I came to the doorway, Sally came around the corner and we bumped into each other. We sat on the cold floor, rubbing our foreheads when Sally started laughing.
What are you laughing at?
I asked, confused.
I just think it's funny. I was running from a rat and then I heard it.
Just as we were about to get up, the thumping noise came from the coffin again. We held our breath and stared at each other. We got very slowly and walked towards the coffin in curiosity.
We've got to pry this lid off. I'll hold it and you try to pry it off, okay? All right.
Half of me wanted to see what was inside, but the other half wanted to run away. As she slid the crowbar into the crack of the coffin, the thumping got louder. Sally grinned as she used all of her weight to try to get the lid off. All of a sudden, the lid flew off, and we stared in awe at what was inside. The huge mummy grunted at us. He was tall, and his whole body was covered in old, dirty cloth. As we watched in terror, I began to shake so hard that my flashlight fell out of my hands. And as I bent over to pick it up, the mummy began coming towards me. I looked over through the darkness and saw Sally lying on the dirty floor. I ran towards her and tried to wake her. I yelled as I shook her. She slowly came to. I could barely see the whites of her eyes.
We've got to get out of here.
I was searching everywhere for either of our flashlights. We'd never be able to find a way through the dark pyramid without the flashlights. We could hear the mummy walking around us, stumbling over the ancient artifacts. Finally realized I had another flashlight in my pack, so I fumbled through my pack and I finally found it. I turned it on, but nothing happened. I banged it against my leg over and over, and finally it flicked on. The mummy stopped. I was horrified of my light. I shined it right on him, and he turned around and headed back towards the coffin. Sally and I ran towards the coffin and shoved the lid back over it. We were the first ones to ever come out of the pyramid alive.
This video was produced by Big Sky students to inform the public about land use planning and the pros and cons of development in Missoula Valley.
In this study, we will show the exponential growth in world population and its effects on Missoula. We will also show some calculated projections to the year 2200. This is a graph showing the increase in world population from 1650 to 2001. As you can see, the population took off at about the year 1900 and has been growing ever since. And with this increase, everything that is associated with it increased too. For example, pollution, cars, and natural resources. This shows the Sigmund pattern of population growth and a estimated plateau at about 10.5 billion. From these figures, you can see what the worldwide growth will be at the turn of the century. This graph shows the population increasing since the 1890s. In the 1930s, you can see a decrease in Missoula's population during the Depression. The Bureau of Defense has researched and projected Missoula's population from 1992 to the year 2012 to increase about 50,000 people.
I think the population around everywhere is really growing, but I think it's kind of sad that it's growing in Missoula so rapidly because right now Missoula is such a great community and everyone kind of knows everyone and it's pretty safe to live here. So hopefully with the population growing it won't really increase too much so that it's not fun to live here anymore.
I feel about the population increase in 43. I like it. We have a beautiful city. I think we increased probably almost half or more. And we have a lot more new buildings. We have a new hospital. We have 2 new hospitals. We have nursing homes. We have all the shopping malls. And we have a lot more business. And we have a lot more people becoming more active and having more businesses in Missoula. And more fun things. What do I want to say about this? The things that have stayed the same are things like the concert at Bonner Park. They used to have that over at the courthouse. They have a lot of activities. They didn't used to have bus service as much as they do now. And also another nice sporting thing is with the children and the baseball. They have baseball games now for the kids. And they're going to be building the new carousel that they're going to put into the park. I like everything about it.
I think it's a definite problem. I think it's a problem everywhere, though. The population is growing really fast, especially in Missoula, and I've heard that it's going to be 1 million in by the year 2000. And I think that's going to pose a real threat for jobs and learning.
Here is a view of Missoula Valley and how it's been increasing since the late 60s. You can see where new development areas are going up. How do you feel about the population increasing in Missoula County?
Development sites have been coming up all around Missoula County, all the way from the new hotel in Lolo to Walmart to Costco in the outskirts of Missoula. Not only have businesses been going up quickly, but so have homes. There have been developments around places like Grant Creek, Rattlesnake area, Elmar Estates, and yes, even Lolo. Development of new houses and businesses not only affects the humans in Missoula, but also affects the animals and If houses go up in the habitat of an animal, either has to move from the area or live with it around the humans. Because of development in Missoula, birds, squirrels, and other animals are forced to live among the humans or face possible death because of it. Places like these have wildlife and other things around it and are moving into areas that are too close to the mountains and should be concentrated more in the city. We need developers to develop more in the city and instead of the outskirts around the trees and the mountains and all and the rivers. And there are also many areas that are bad for development, like in riparian areas, wilderness. We like these places, so we keep them undeveloped. So we should keep them undeveloped. Lately around Missoula, we've seen development going up all around in the city, and that's really good for the animals and stuff like that. But around here, there's like houses on the hills and everything, which hurts the wildlife around. People in Missoula don't really like to live around the city areas, and they all like the open space and to see the countryside all the time. But they can't always have that if they don't want to hurt the environment, and they all want to come to the country and have all the open spaces they want. But we can't always have that. We have to concentrate people in the city, because if we have people in the city, then that'll be better for the wildlife outside.
I've been here for a while, and I like the open areas, but I like seeing good development too, because I like seeing a place grow. I think like a good area for people to go would be in the downtown area or in other developed areas, but not down in the rivers, because there's wildlife and a lot of habitat down there, and I don't want to see that stuff destroyed, because I like going out and looking at animals and enjoying them.
You'll notice all the clear cut up in the mountain up there. They take all the wood and they build all the houses with it, and so it takes away from all the beauty in the forest.
Planners rely on a number of tools in making land use decisions. Maps are one of these tools. Maps created with computer technology are playing an increasingly important role in land use planning because of the vast amount of information available to the planner almost instantaneously.
There are two basic maps, one which all of us are used to using, the two-dimensional paper map, and a new mapping system called GIS. There are two GIS labs in Missoula, one at the university and one in the courthouse, which we are about to visit. This is the basic GIS setup. On the screen, you can see the panel of icons which controls the functions of GIS, and you can see the Missoula County map, which is currently displaying the major roads of Missoula County. GIS is so useful because it is a program of layers of information about Missoula County, such as roadways, river systems, etc., which can be pulled up and displayed at the touch of a button, but is only as good as the information a person puts into it. Now you can see the major lakes of Missoula County coming in. This is useful to many people, such as fish and parks, for knowing exactly where bodies of water are located. This map is the vegetation map. It shows many different layers of vegetation in Missoula County. Close-up of the icon bar shows just what the system is capable of showing. Such things as elk population, size change of the map, distance measurements, sewer systems, bull trout population, rainbow trout population, big game population, and trails. The list goes on and on. Here again you can see Missoula County. The orange lines are major roads, the green patches are grizzly bear habitat. By overlaying these two information layers, you can see that the highway bisects the grizzly bear habitat in half. This shows some of the endangered species of Missoula County. The wolf, the eagle, and some sensitive plant species are represented by the small circles. Pat O'Hearn is a land use planner who works on the GIS lab. One of the big advantages of GIS is the capability to produce any of the maps shown on the screen into two-dimensional paper maps, such as this contour map of Missoula County, which came off of the GIS system. Right now, Pat O'Hearn is showing us where the 9 Mile Valley is. Here are more hard copy maps produced by the GIS system. This one is showing land ownership of Missoula County. The purple is owned by Plum Creek.
One local land use issue is the proposed development at Fort Missoula. The proposal has generated a great deal of publicity, demonstrating the public's strong sentiments about this issue. Missoulians should expect to be faced with more issues of this type as time goes on. With a rapidly expanding population, we will be asked to make more tough decisions about developing the last open lands in the county. The debate over the fort has been useful in drawing the public's attention to these difficult issues. How would you like the county to look in 25 or 50 years?
There are people that say we can't stop development in Montana and we can't be putting a fence up around Montana, and that's true. But at the same time, this development has to be organized, and it has to benefit not just a few individuals that are going to make a lot of money or get their names in the paper, but benefit the people of Missoula and Montana. And where do we stop? Where do we draw the line and say enough is enough? We have to have some open space. We have to preserve some of the old heritage of Missoula and Montana for the futures. And there are places to build that maybe aren't so nice and so picturesque, but people can build in other places and live there rather than take over the last of the open spots. And a place that is historically really important to a lot of people that live in Missoula today. We have World War II prisoners that live in Missoula that were interned at Fort Missoula. We have people whose relatives served in the army there during the Nez Perce Wars, etc., etc. And there's a tie there. Development and putting in a bunch of houses does not keep that tie and does not keep the heritage of Missoula. And I'm not against development, but I am against unrestricted development that does not benefit the large numbers of people in Montana, as I think this would do.
Yeah, this is a proposed building site in Missoula, and there's this knapweed field here that I'm standing in, and personally, I'm looking at it right now, and there's no historical value to this place, and personally I'd rather see buildings go up and have it be a development site.
I have mixed feelings. I think that it would be nice to have something over there on that field of knapweed if I felt it would stop there. But I feel like that's just a stepping stone, and then they'll try and take all the fort.
I think they should keep it recreational out here, like maybe more baseball fields or soccer fields, or maybe the ice rink out here, but no housing, no more housing.
The fort issue remains a contentious one. As more land use dilemmas inevitably arise, what decisions will the citizens of Missoula County make? What information do we need to help us make good decisions? And will we choose to act or choose not to decide and let the future be created for us? What will the future bring?